Hey everyone, Professor Sweeter and happy Monday. Welcome to week 2 of communications. This is just a quick video to go over some information for you, to highlight a few things that are really important for you to look at this week and just to touch base again. I hope you all had a great first week. I hope the class is going well for you. Let's chat a little bit about the pace of this class. As I mentioned last week, this is a 7.5-week asynchronous course. What that means is we do not have a set meeting time, but you are required to log in multiple times throughout the week and complete assignments in weekly folders. Last week was week 1. Right now we're in week 2, week 3, 4, 5, and so on. And what you'll see is in Blackboard, folders will appear at the start of each new week. Now, I'd like to take just a second and address for you the fact that last week was a short week. We started on Wednesday and then everything was due last night at this point where I'm recording, Sunday night at midnight. And having things due Sunday night at midnight is very, very typical. You'll see that through the rest of the semester. What's not typical is starting on a Wednesday night. And I do realize that that was a short week for you. Hear me out. Here's my rationale behind it. When I make week 1 a little bit shorter, what happens then is I build in a lot of extra time for you at the end of the semester. And what I find is, while week 1 gets a little bit hectic and maybe a little bit frustrating, in April, you will thank me for it. So that's my rationale there. I do want to assure you though, because I have heard from a few people who are concerned about late assignments. Yes, week 1 is technically over right now, but please remember, you saw this already in the syllabus. I do accept late work. And because week 1 was a little bit, quick, I'm not going to deduct points for late assignments from week 1. So please just go ahead and submit those assignments as soon as possible. They will be accepted. They will receive full credit. Here on out, please know, week 2 material and through the end of the course, I will still accept that as late, but there is a small point deduction should you submit something late. Let's talk briefly about the discussion boards as well. I sent out a text message this morning letting people know that because week 1 was a little bit short, I was going to extend the discussion board until Wednesday at noon. What that means essentially is I'm just not going to be grading it until afternoon on Wednesday. So that gives you a little bit of extra time to sneak in and record your first week discussion boards. Our week 2 discussion board is already open, so you can go ahead and you can work on that right now too. All right, so here's what I'd like to do. Gone over a little bit of that administrative stuff. Let's talk a little bit about what you're responsible for this week in Blackboard. So here we are in Blackboard, and you can see that the week 2 folder has appeared. Click here to access MindTap is still there. Week 1 is still there and open to you. Cengage technical support is still open to you, but this is the new one, week 2. And as I said last week, you don't see them yet, but 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are there, and they're hiding and they're waiting. So let's open up week 2. Here we go. In week 2, we are talking about chapters 2 and 3 in interconnections. Chapter 2 has to do with identity and the self. Chapter 3 has to do with individual and intercultural motivations. So when we talk about communications, these are kind of weird chapters. I think a lot of times people assume that we're going to be talking about verbal communication or maybe nonverbal communication. And when I tell you at the beginning of the semester that we're really emphasizing relationships, I think a lot of people figure that that should be the focus of the course. But with chapters 2 and 3, these are actually really, really vital chapters, because in this week, you are looking at yourself as an individual. You're looking at who you are, you're looking at your culture, you're looking at your identity, and you're trying to examine where you think that all came from. How did you become the person that you are now? And the reason why that's important is in chapter 3, where we start talking about your motivations and what drives you. And essentially, if you think about communication and if you think about the relationships that you have with other people, there is some sort of drive or motivation or desire behind all of those relationships. So the reality is, for us to understand our relationships with other people, we must first understand our relationships with ourselves and who we ourselves are. All right, scrolling down, here's a folder linking you to the reading. That's for chapter 2 and for chapter 3. Below that are some PowerPoints for you. Below that is the link to this week's discussion board. And I recommend that you view this video by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie first. She's an excellent speaker. She's an excellent writer. I do encourage you to read some of her books. I know Goodwin does have a copy of The Americans, which is probably her most popular novel in the library. Below that, links to chapters 2 and 3 quizzes. Now, I do want to clarify something for you. With quizzes, quizzes in MindTap are hard. The vocab is hard. It's very particular. I personally don't love them, but I also don't have the ability to edit them for you. I've been asking Cengage for years to give me the opportunity to edit quizzes and fix up some of that language, and they just won't let me do it. So what that means is I have opened up all of the quizzes to give you multiple attempts. All right. Last week, the chapter 1 quiz was not yet set to it, but quite honestly, there was so much other stuff that we were going over. I wasn't ready to share that with you, but please feel free to go back and redo the chapter 1 quiz if you want to. And please know that from here on out, all of the quizzes have 3 attempts. My goal is for you to get a 100 on all the quizzes. And if it takes 3 attempts, fabulous. If it takes more than 3 attempts, that's great too. I will create more attempts for you. All right. Scrolling down a little bit further, you've got the document submission for this week. This has to do with the Johari window. And then finally, at the very, very bottom here, you've got this week's video activity, which is Chatty Tourists Abroad. All right, so that's what you're looking at this week in chapters 2 and 3. I'm going to go ahead and click over to the discussion board really quick so you can just see Flipgrid where it is. Week 1 discussion is there. It looks like a couple more people have jumped in there. I'm going to go open up week 2. Remember, unlike a typical online class, you are not posting at the bottom here. Instead, you are clicking on the Flipgrid link or you are scanning the QR code, and that is how you are getting into the discussion board each week. Please remember that you need to post an original video for your initial response. And after that, you have to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. Your responses can be a video or it can be written posts. If you have questions about this, any concerns, shoot me an email. Let's talk about it. All right. What I'd like to do really quick now is just go back and talk briefly about MindTap. A couple things that you should be aware of with MindTap. First of all, if you do not yet have the book, and I'm going to open up MindTap so you can see it for you. All right. This is my version of MindTap, so it's going to look a little bit different, but it does have all the same information. You can see your learning path right here for chapter 2, and that's what you're focusing on this week. And chapter 3 is right below that. With MindTap, though, I do want to let you know a couple things that are very, very important. Last week, I sent some information for you about how to choose the textbook that's right for you. I realize that it's not the cheapest textbook, which is why I tried to give you a couple different options. And I realize it's not always an easy textbook to understand, you know, how to go through and how to purchase the one that's the right for you. Please know that even if you are not ready today to purchase the textbook, there is a trial period. So you can still log in and register with the website and activate your free trial. I honestly don't know if it's 7 days or 14 days. They seem to be playing with that number a little bit in the past 2 semesters. So it might be a little bit shorter. It might be only 7 days at this point. But that at the very least will get you into the program, give you the opportunity to start doing assignments and to familiarize yourself with it. And I think that's really valuable, quite honestly, because we started last week at the first of the month. And I don't know about you, but my mortgage payment was due. So it's a little bit challenging sometimes to balance all of that. Other things that you should be aware of with MindTap. MindTap is a product that is separate from Blackboard, and MindTap communicates assignments and grades to Blackboard, but not the other way around. So what you're going to see as you complete assignments in MindTap, MindTap will show that you completed the assignment, but Blackboard will not show that you've completed the assignment. All right. And it will not show that you've completed the assignment until after I grade it manually. So what that means is where chapter 1 assignments were due yesterday, I have not yet graded them because I've been in meetings all day. And so Blackboard is probably yelling at you going, hey, you didn't do this. You didn't do this assignment. It's missing. Before you panic, check MindTap, make sure that you did the assignment. And then you're probably going to see that MindTap sees that you did it. Blackboard does not yet. And unfortunately, that's not something I can turn off. It's going to continue to alert you to the fact that you need to do the assignment that you already did until I grade the assignment. Okay, so I hope that helps clarify things and help you not be too worried about it. All right. The last thing that I want to talk to you about tonight is just to let you know that the midterm folder is now open in Blackboard. So I'm going to go back into Blackboard really quick and give you a quick look at that. Whoops, we're looking at MindTap. Here's Blackboard. And click on course projects and then midterm project. And what you're going to see in here is I've recorded a few videos and posted them. One of them is an intro to the project. Right here is the link to download the project assignment. And below that is something to help you work on the thesis, which is due this Sunday, and then the actual assignment. Below that, if I scroll down further, is outline information, and then some information about speaking and feeling comfortable when you're doing public speaking. But really right now you're focusing on this first part, understanding the assignment, the thesis workshop, and then the thesis statement, goal, and topic paragraph. So please, if you have not yet looked at the midterm folder, make sure you do that. We want to jump into this one as soon as possible. I'll be totally honest with you. Of all the projects we do this semester, I would say this is the hardest one. Again, front loaded on you. Sorry, you're welcome. I don't know. But this is the hardest project. And so that being said, I like to jump into it right away. Please, please, please go through this folder, look at the videos, and then when you're ready, ask me questions. All right, so that is there for your learning enjoyment. All right, my friends, the last thing that I just want to impress upon you is the importance of signing up for text messaging. I can see that several of you, or rather many of you have signed up for text messaging, but I can also see that many of you have not signed up for text messaging. And it is truly a valuable way to reach me and to connect quickly. When you sign up for text messaging, you are signing up through Remind, and you can find that information in the syllabus page of Blackboard and also in the announcements from last week. Or if you're not sure, you can shoot me a text message and I can add you to the list myself. Here's the deal. When you sign up for text messaging, it is a private and secure way to message me and to ask me questions really quickly. You are texting me alone, and I'm the only one who sees that message, and then I respond to you. So it's not like you're texting the entire class. I have the opportunity and the ability to text the entire class and send out messages that are announcements and reminders, but for the most part, I'm texting people one-on-one. So it's a nice, secure way to reach me quickly. I will also be totally honest. I'm usually running all over the place. And so if you're looking to connect with me and get an answer really fast, text message is going to be the fastest way to reach me. Email is going to be second. Okay, so please, please, please sign up for text messaging. It's an easy way to stay connected and to communicate. All right. I don't want to make this message too long, so I'm going to close it here. But again, I hope you are having a great week. I hope you enjoy the warmth this week, because I think it's going to snow in a week or two. But thank you all for joining me. And I look forward to getting to know each of you in the coming weeks. Bye now.